Right, I'm just making a quick video about interest rates and where I think the interest rates are going to go. Obviously, this week, the Bank of England has cut the base rate by 0.25%. So the current base rate is 4.5% interest rates, Bank of England. And I thought it might be useful for people to get my thoughts on where I think the interest rates are going to go and what I've done. For the 20 people that are going to watch this video, you might find it useful. Now, I fixed my interest rates. I think I've got three buy-to-let mortgages, and the last one was due for renewal in December 2024. So December 2024, that was my last one, and they were all in 2024. And I fixed all me three mortgages at somewhere between 3.8 to sort of 3.9%. That's where I fixed, and I fixed all three on a 5-year deal. Now, my thinking was at the time, I thought with the government putting up the minimum wage, I think that would boost inflation. Now, obviously, the government is putting the minimum wage up. I think it's to £12.21 in April. And my thinking is, whatever you're on, if you're on, so say you're on £12.20 an hour, and you're working in a factory or something like that, or you're working in a hotel, or you're doing some sort of manual job. I think you're going to turn around if it's a hard job. You're going to turn around and you're going to go, hang on, the minimum wage is £12.21. I should be on more than that. And I think there will be pay rises paid this year, and people will be going, you know what? If I'm slogging my guts out somewhere, I might as well just go and work in McDonald's because I'll get paid the same sort of thing. So that was my thinking, and I think a thing like when you look at the cost of stuff in the shops, I know it's a bit of an obscure thing to talk about, but I am on a bit of a diet. And I said to my partner, I said, "Oh, I'd like some hot chocolate at work. So if I get fed up with tea or coffee, I can have some hot chocolate." And Cadbury's Highlights, there's not many calories in it. And she's like, "Oh, I'll get you a jar," sort of thing. And she looks on. My partner looked on line at the prices, and she couldn't believe the price. Like, I think like Tesco's was selling it at like £4.30 a jar, something like that. And she's like, forget about that. I'm not buying that at £4.30. So I think like inflation, the cost of stuff, like cars as well. I know I was looking at um, the cost of new cars. And anybody that's not bought a car in a while would think to themselves, "Oh yeah, new car. Oh, I bet you can get a car for 20 grand. You can't." Like you're talking, people are buying new cars now, and they're spending, 30, 40, 50 grand. That's where you're at with these cars. So I think we will get inflation. I've just been looking on the internet at this, and what they're saying is the European Bank are cutting their interest rates, and there's been several cuts because European countries are going into recession. They're saying that Germany is already in a recession. So what the European Bank is saying, they're saying, are we cutting interest rates no matter what? We're not bothered about inflation. So that's what they're doing. I think America, when you look at America, I think their interest rates are 4%. And what they're worried about now is this trade war that Donald Trump's doing, where he's putting tariffs on goods that are coming into the US. and obviously that will create inflation. And as soon as inflation starts running away, what can you do to tackle it? Now, what I think will happen in the UK, as many commentators have predicted, I think we will get two more bank cut rate cuts. So it's currently at 4.5%. I think you'll get another 0.25% maybe in June, right? And then I think you'll get another cut, 0.25% maybe in October. But I think by then, inflation will be rising. I think the first cut that they do, if they do a cut in June, I think they'll say I think inflation will be edging up. But they always do that thing where they go, oh, it's transitory. That's not trans. That's transitory. Can't say it. But meaning that it's just a short term problem. And what they were saying, the Bank of England, they were saying that inflation's going up, but it's nothing that anybody can do about it because it's energy bills and stuff like that, fuel. It's not people going out spending. So putting pain on people and putting up interest rates doesn't have any effect. But so I reckon that's what'll happen. I reckon it'll edge up slightly. They'll do a cut in June, and they'll do another 0.25%. Things will look even worse by the time we get to October. Things will be looking even worse. The economy will look. There'll be more and more businesses closing, people being laid off, and they'll do another cut, and they'll go 0.25% in October. But I reckon that'll be it. I reckon by that time, inflation could be at 5%, and I think that's it. And like, I don't think you'll get another. I don't think you'll get an increase in 2025, but I think certainly by the time you get into 2026, you'll get an increase, and then they'll go, oh, inflation's going up. We're going to have to put the interest rates up, and then it'll probably go up to, they'll probably put it up 0.25%. So this is not financial advice, but just that is what I've done. I've fixed my interest rates for 5-year term. The only other thing I would say as well is when you're looking at these interest rates, look at the fees, because what the banks and building societies are tending to do, they're tending to offer you quite a lowish rate, and you look at the rate and you think, oh, that's not too bad. But then when you look at the fees, like, I don't know if you can see here, but I am on a well-known buy-to-let mortgage provider. I'm not going to name them. But their buy-to-let rates. So this is a 2-year fixed. So you can get a 2-year fixed with a minimum, a 25% deposit, right? 2-year fixed, and the fee is 3.95. Now you think 3.95. That ain't bad. If you thought to yourself you were going to remortgage, or a purchase on a buy-to-let, you'd think, right, 3.59. Do you know what? That's okay. That's not too bad. But the kicker is the fees. Now what they're saying is the fees are 3%. So what I'm saying is, if you're borrowing 100 grand, you're going to have a 3 grand fee. And that's only for 2 years. So what I'm saying, in 2 years' time, I mean, you probably be borrowing more than that anyway. You might be borrowing 200,000. So you're borrowing 200,000. That means your fees are going to be 6 grand. Now that is a lot, isn't it? You think in 2 years' time you're going to be forced to remortgage again, and then they might turn around and they go, we can do another product. We can fix for another 2 years, and it'll be another 3%. So all of a sudden, a mortgage rate that looks good, you could be adding 6 grand, 12 grand to your mortgage over 4 years. So I think that is the problem. When you look at the fee, when you look at the rates, they've skewed the rates to look better than they actually are because of the fees they're charging. I don't want to just talk about buy to let. I want to talk about the general. I want to make this video about general mortgages. If you're thinking of purchasing a mortgage, and I know I went on compare mortgages. That's what I went on, just to see what the best rate was. And this was for borrowing 225,000 over 25 years. That's with a £25,000 deposit, 10%. So it's 90% loan to value, right? And the best rate that I could find was Lloyd's, which is 4.87%, 2-year fixed. That's got a fee of £999. And the current APR on that, when it drops out of the fixed period, is 7.8%. So I think it's like I said at the minute, it's 4.87% fixed for 2 years, and then once you're at your 2-year deal, 7.8% sort of thing. That is the best rate I could find. You look at that. I'll just show you it on there. 4.87%. I think if I was buying a house, I don't think that would be to live in. I'm not about buy to let. I don't think that would be that appealing, because I'd look at that and I'd think to myself, I could see 2 rate cuts on that. I think anybody who was looking at our house now would think to themselves, I'll hang on and maybe wait for another 1 or 2 rate cuts, try and get a better rate. I mean, let's be honest, if we're heading into a recession, I can't see house prices going up. I know the government's got this thing where they're on about relaxing the lending rules to make it easier for first time buyers. But I think if I was in the position where I was thinking, right, you're in a couple or you're a first time buyer or whatever, and you're renting and you think, right, I want to go out and buy a house. Do you know what? I'd hang slack. I would have a look at it again in 6 months' time, just to see, because I think as well the banks, if there's another 2 rate cuts, the banks might be offering 3.5% mortgage, which ain't bad. If you could get like a 3.5% mortgage, then it'd be worth fixing for 5 years. Probably worth fixing for 10 years. The only other thing I want to talk about as well as well as the fees, is the lock-in period, because a lot of people, I know people that have decided to sell the house or decided to move, and they're not realised that a year ago they fixed their mortgage for 5 years and didn't realise about the lock-in period. Now, a lot of these mortgages, when you take out a 5-year deal, a year later, if you want to get out the mortgage, you're looking at fees of about 6%. And then the next year, you're looking at fees of 5%. And then the next year, you're looking at fees at 4%. And then the next year, you're looking at fees for 3%. And then I think when we're in the final year, when you're in year 4, normally they don't charge you a fee. They'll let you move or get out. It's not too bad. So that is one thing to be careful of if you're thinking about buying a house. And you think, oh, hang on, how long are we going to be there? Blah blah blah. Is just think, right, if you are fixing for 5 years, you're going to be tied into that mortgage. You won't be able to get out of it. Right, so that's all I'm doing for now. I hope that you found that interesting. I hope it wasn't too waffly. The last video that I did on the Renters Reform Bill, I picked up 8 subscribers. So, if we get 10 views on this video, we'll see how we go. Okay, cheers, bye.